In-ear monitors have marked a turning point in how I understand sound. They represent minimalism and ergonomics taken to their highest expression. I started with some very affordable KZs, and since then I've tried other brands across various price ranges, which have helped me set my expectations and identify which ones are truly worth it. And that's why I'm making this video. I thought I had reached the pinnacle with my Sennheisers and that I couldn't find anything better at a decent price. But then a brand I didn't even know sent me a pair of IEMs that simply seem to have superior tuning compared to their rivals. Usually when I try on different headphones I can notice the difference right away, but with these two things are so evenly matched that instead of testing them in different scenarios, I played the same clips and switched between headphones because I needed to detect any hint of difference between them. Far from what I expected, I thought they'd be equal, or that one would just slightly outperform the other. But the frequency range of these Chinese IEMs is wider than the Sennheisers. I had to repeat the test several times because I didn't believe that they were actually better. But in the end, I have no doubt that the sound from this is the winner. Any sound we're used to hearing in-game, like gunshots, movements or explosions, when listening to them one by one, you suddenly realize there's more to it. The sound has certain tones that I couldn't detect before, and editing, that's where I noticed that the mid-range frequencies make a difference in the tone of the voice. Honestly, I'm very surprised at what these IEMs are capable of. The Sennheisers will definitely start gathering dust. Not only do they have a well-crafted sound, but they also made sure not to fail in any other aspect. In the KZ video I mentioned that their in-ear tube bothered me quite a bit. The ear canal was too large, and after hours of use it became uncomfortable, not to mention that they would fall out on their own. After trying different models, I've seen that brands have a hard time getting the ergonomics right for the ear. After all, this can be a very personal thing for each person, but in my case, with these ones, I haven't felt any imbalance. They use this more standard shape because it simply works well, and the materials they use are very pleasant to the touch. There are no sharp angles that could be uncomfortable. Everything is very smooth and designed with comfort in mind. Plus, they come with a braided cable that makes them more resistant to tangling. There's an important triangle, and that's what I want to highlight. Often with products like this, we have three factors: design, sound quality, and price. Having tried many other earbuds, I could rank them, and I realized that many only excel in 2 out of the 3 factors. They always end up leaving something behind. That's why, doing this, I not only realized that in every aspect they're better than any other I've tried, but they also have a triangle that represents the balance and great value they bring to the table. And I haven't even mentioned everything yet. They don't overlook anything, they even have a microphone. That said, they do have the same issue I found on others. The audio from the earbuds leaks into the microphone as soon as you start any video on the computer. So, you now can judge by yourselves the audio that it's filtering into the microphone and see if the quality is any good. And even though, if I stop it, you can now judge the quality of the microphone without any audio leaking into the microphone. They are not meant for recording sessions, so at least they get you out of trouble if you need a microphone, and it's another compelling reason to use these over the Sennheisers, which don't have one. This is the first time I've seen a brand go to such lengths to ensure we can use the earbuds properly. They come with a jack to USB-A converter and also with a TRRS to TRS splitter. You might not know what all of this is, but in most desktop computers the connections are TRS, and on phones or laptops they are TRRS. Basically, this means that TRRS can send both audio and microphone signals in one connection. On the other hand, on desktop computers, if we want to use the microphone, we need to use the splitter to divide the signals or use the USB adapter. They also come with a case to protect them on the go, which is quite common on this type of product, but inside we find a multitude of air tips because ears come in many shapes and sizes. And there are even some tips for enhanced noise isolation. Interestingly, they also include a small UV light, which basically shows us that even if they seem clean, they're not. It's been a couple years now since I've switched to IEMs, because in my opinion they surpass traditional headphones or headsets in every way. They don't need to draw attention, they just work, and they do it very well, investing all the money in improving sound without creating something bulky and flashy. And I'm sure many of you have experienced the same thing I did. When I had headphones, I would have liked to take them everywhere, but due to their shape and size, I needed the space, and obviously I wouldn't walk around with them on the street. But with this type of earbuds, We can do that, and we even have extra space in our pockets. Not to mention, for example, that I had to stop using most of my headphones because over time the cables degraded, and I couldn't hear from one side. That's difficult to fix with headphones that have soldered cables. In contrast, most IEMs have this type of universal modular design where the IEMs can be detached from the cable, and replacements are very cheap. Of all the products I receive, I honestly had no expectations for these ones. I try to filter well what I show because I want them to be good, and I let brands send me the products under my terms, where I ultimately decide if I want to make the video or not, but always after testing them. I don't commit beforehand, even though if that's what brands are looking for. That's why I emphasize that this is not a promo. I don't charge the brands for doing this. I have quite a few of IEMs that simply haven't showcased because I wouldn't recommend them.